We have further, if you go, there's a mosque. What is that mosque? It's called as Hazrat Bal. Means one hair of Muhammad Sahib is kept in that place. I said, really, just imagine one hair of Muhammad Sahib was kept in that place, and I got it up at least 5 miles away. So you can imagine that hair may not be aware of the vibrations it has. But the one who is a human being and a realized soul gets the awareness 5 miles away from that hair that there lies the hair of Muhammad Sahib. Now for this hair there has been a big quarrel and fight and this and that. and then it was replaced, all sorts of things. But the ones who are fighting even for that do not know what it is. Just fighting for nothing at all. Like that you can see that those things which have got, we can say, matter in it. Same matter becomes a human being after some time through evolutionary process. And the same thing which was just a matter, when it becomes a human being, becomes aware of those divine vibrations. Before that it cannot. So we cancel out all animals. I had a dog which used to vibrate. If anybody came, they would say, "Mother, what vibrations coming from this dog?" It used to feel. If some man with nasty feelings or something would come in the house, he knew it was, so he used to bark on that. He knew many things. But he was not aware that he had vibrations. He could not feel himself that he had vibrations. He kept a very good health and he was a pedigree dog, but the doctor said that this dog is remarkable for his own pedigree. He's too tall and too broad and very healthy. See? But because of vibrations, he kept up that kind of a health. So one has to understand that you become the truth means your awareness itself becomes aware of divine. That your central nervous system, or you can say your brain, evolves to that state that you can feel the vibration. That's one thing. Then you can not only feel the vibrations, but you can discern them. You can find out whether these are good vibrations or bad vibrations. Then you can also say whether these vibrations are partial or full vibrations from the person. If the person has got some sort of a disease or a trouble, you can, without knowing a word about medicine, you can say this person is suffering from such and such disease. Imagine the computer that we are. We are really the greatest computer that anybody can produce. Human beings can't produce this computer. The one they have produced is just a copy of this, which is not such a great copy also. Because this computer sees something and knows this is this. It doesn't think. Can you think of a computer which doesn't think? Just without thinking it knows. And that's the computer we are. Now this great computer of our brain, which just sees and knows, feels and knows, smells and knows, this special computer becomes a greater, we can say a subtler instrument which knows the divine, which feels the divine, which understands the divine and can maneuver it. It can maneuver it. For example, a person has got some problem. He's suffering from some disease. He knows how to cure himself. Also, he knows how to cure that person. Now, I've known many people who say that they are healers. Some people heal also. But it can be very dangerous with these healers, because these healers are not the people who have any knowledge about the divine. Some of them could be realized souls, could be. But they do not know what they are doing, what they have to do. And some of them, most of them are not the ones who are realized souls. They are the people who use a kind of a spirit. Like in this England, here in London. We had one hospital once upon a time called late Dr. Lang's Hospital, called as Dr. Lang's International Hospital or something like that. Now this doctor was dead. And he manifested into a soldier somewhere in Vietnam and told him that you go and see my son. And when he came to see the son said, "How do you say that my father is in you?" He said, "I'll tell you the secret talks you had with your father." And he talked. He was amazed. Now he said, "Your father wants me to start a clinic." He said, "Are you a doctor?" I said, "No, I'm not a doctor." But he said, "There are many doctors who have died without expressing their skill. So they would like to help, and we should start this clinic." So the boy agreed, and they started a clinic. Now see, the father did not possess the boy, but he possessed some another healthy person in Vietnam. When he got a shock, then he possessed him. And then they started their healing process. So actually I came to know about them because there was one lady in India who came to me, and she came to see me because she was suffering from horrible nervous trouble. And she came before me, she was shaking just like this. So I said, "What's this?" She said, "This is my nervous trouble." Then she told me that she had some ulcer in her stomach and she had some problem with the ulcer. And she knew about this Dr. Lang's international thing from someone. So she wrote to him saying that, "Please cure me." And one day she was just resting in her bed. They told her that on such and such day you rest in your bed, and at such and such point that will cure. And she felt the shaking in her body. The whole shaking came to her as a shock because they didn't tell them she would be shaking. And after the shaking stopped, her ulcer was cured and she felt very much better. But as the time passed, within 3 years' time, she discovered that she is a very nervous woman. She got frightened of everything and she used to shake. And at a very young age, her whole body started shaking. And doctors couldn't understand what sort of a disease is this. Now, this kind of a thing can be also a so-called healing. But the healing has to have an intelligent answer after realization. Supposing we say Surge Yoga can heal cancer, then we should be able to tell a doctor how we have cured the person of this trouble. It's not just I've touched a person and I've cured. Yes, it happens that way, it may happen. But that doesn't mean that there is no explanation for it. There has to be an intelligent explanation that on such and such center, we found that it was exhausted, and when this exhausted center was triggered by some entity, then the cancer took place, and what we have done is to put back the center. Now the doctor would be surprised, because he will be surprised to know that we know exactly where the cancer is, we know exactly how to put it right, and we can give a full explanation to him from what plexus it has happened to what it has gone. He'll be surprised. Then if you give realization to that doctor, he gets realization, and then he himself can cure other people, he can cure himself also. But it has to have an intelligent explanation. This is what the truth becomes when you become a realized soul. If a person is a realized soul, he sees truth so directly, and that he can explain it, so the people can understand what he is going to say and what he is meaning. It's not something ambiguous. For example, now in the Bible we have a word called Holy Ghost. Now we can say that Holy Ghost is a word which we cannot explain, because if we just read Bible, you cannot understand Holy Ghost, because Christ or Holy Ghost are like oceans, and you cannot just put it in one little cup and say that this is it, and beyond this is nothing. You have to go beyond it to see. There are many cups filled with the knowledge, and you have to see all of them and find out what is the meaning of the word Holy Ghost in other scriptures also. And when you find a similarity between the two, then you are surprised that this is what Holy Ghost is. But when we just take Bible as everything, then I have seen people making Bible so small as that, putting in a golden box, hanging it. Imagine. It is absolutely absurd. Bible is to be respected, no doubt. It has great knowledge in it. But as the Bible itself, I feel, is a microscopic thing. It's very microscopic. Every word is microscopic, and to go into its details and all that, you must first get realization and get explanation from other places, other dictionaries, which can explain it better. But when we stick on to one sort of a thing, then we are flabbergasted. Like the other day we had a controversy about Christ, and I told you very frankly that Paul is all wrong. He is not a realized soul at all. He doesn't understand God. He doesn't understand religion. And that is what is when the truth comes to you. You see everything clearly. And all the people, truth being absolute, say the same. Take Khalil Gibran, he says the same. Take your William Blake in England. Anyone you take, they say the same thing because there's no difference of opinion as far as the truth is concerned if you are facing the truth. And the trouble is when you are a human being, you can be also dishonest. Supposing, even if you see that this microscope is placed before me, alright, then a person who is not a realized soul can tell a lie also, there was no microscope. Can tell, but not a realized soul. And a person who is possessed may not even see a microscope. You'll be surprised, some people don't see me, they just see light. If they are possessed, their eyes are possessed. If somebody is a drunk fellow, he may not even see me, he just walks over me like that. So the awareness before realization can be blurred. And there, for a simple, truthful thing as you see with your own eyes, there can be aberrations, there can be other explanations and other descriptions. But after realization, the basic truth never changes. You may say it in a poetic way. Like Paul has said, this Paul seems to be a strange man to me. I may say that he was not honest. Or somebody may say something. But the truth about Paul is the same. But those who are not realized soul will not understand. They are built big churches in his name. People are going to the church, now people are flabbergasted. They don't know what to do. They have built the churches in the name of Christ, everything, and he denies the miracles of Christ. So now what to do? They are lost. They don't know how to get over this feeling of frustration that they love Christ so much. They adored him. They thought him to be such a great personality, that the Son of God. And then now suddenly to say that he had no miracles. That was shock, but don't believe them. Don't believe them, because Christ was the Son of God, no doubt. But how can you explain? When you just read Bible, you cannot see. And then Paul, this Paul, who was he? He should not have been there. He is not a Christian, anyway, because he had never seen Christ. So this kind of a challenge, only a person who is a realized soul can put it, and all realized souls will stand by with that person. They'll have the same voice about it. Whether you go to the antiquities, or you go in the future, any time a realized soul will come, he say the same thing. That's why there is so much similarity, I should say the unity in all these people, whether it is Lao Tse, or whether it is Muhammad Sahib, or whether it is Janaka or Nanaka, they say the same thing. Now where is the difference that comes in? Also we see very clearly when the truth is your own. The difference comes that these incarnations came for a different type of a job. Like Moses came to establish the void, as we say here, in the center. All these primordial masters came to do that. So their job was, like we can say Guru Nanak, or all these people who were primordial masters, came on this earth to establish the balance. And that's why, whatever they have said, all of them have said the same thing. Then came Rama, supposing Rama came on this earth. He came here to establish the benevolent king. What is a benevolent king? The idea of a benevolent king. So he talks differently. Then came, say, Krishna. Krishna came to establish the truth that you have to ascend first, and secondly, he came to show that the world is just a play of God. Then came Christ. Now Christ came on this earth to create a full awareness within us that we are the Spirit. So the accent of their preaching has been for the purpose they have come. For example, I have to give realization to people. I have to raise the Kundalini. And I have to explain all of them and integrate them. So I have to talk about all of them. But my task is easier because there are sensible people in those days. But when Christ lived, what sort of people lived? They're absolutely cruel, violent, nonsensical. Muhammad Sahib had a very bad time, Guru Nanak had a very bad time. None of them had such a nice time as I am having. None of you are going to crucify me. So, you must understand that the truth, when it comes to a person like that, not only that he knows, but he can make others also. This is what William Blake has said. That at this time, men of God, that's you people, will become prophets and they will have powers to make others prophets. So people sometimes say, why didn't it happen earlier? No, that was not the time. Now the blossom time has come, so it is happening. Then you see the truth in its full extent. Like at that time, this was the situation. Today, this is the situation, and according to the situation or the development of the tree of life, the work is done. This is what one has to understand. The complete comprehensive idea about the spiritual growth of human beings. Unless and until you have that kind of an idea, whatever you have is like a person is saying that the flower is the tree, somebody is saying that the leaf is the tree, and they are fighting. Everything is the tree. Everything is needed for the tree. So when you understand through your self-realization that truth is what it is, you cannot change it. So you become the truth, and the strength of truth comes in you. And then you're not afraid of anything. You say it out loudly. Say, this is the truth. I know this is the truth. People may not accept it. They may crucify you, do what they like. But truth is truth. And that truth remains forever and ever. It is eternal. But this brain that we do not think much of becomes aware of the truth. This is the blessing of the truth upon us, which comes to us through our self-realization, or we say through our spirit. There can be complete several lectures on truth if I go on, but I think I have to see to the other side of it, what else it does. The another thing that happens to you is your attention. Now our attention is outside. The reason is our brain has become like a prison. And the rays that come into us of awareness also are thrown out. And as a reaction, our attention goes outside. If I tell you to take your attention inside, you cannot take it. Just cannot. Something has to happen inside. And that's why when this Kundalini rises within you, then your attention is attracted inside, and this happening takes place. And then you find that you can enter inside as well as outside. But otherwise you cannot. Many people say that we are praying. Now you are praying outside. There's no connection. First the connection must be established. So when your attention is outside, you react to everything. For example, I come and see these flowers, then I react to it, and then I say something, or another thing I see. All the time I'm reacting outside. As a result of all the kind of sensations we get out of our reactions, our attention becomes absolutely disturbed. And we get into a lot of troubles. First of all, our eyes are not steady. They go on hovering from here to there, or God knows what we are looking for. The eyes become impure because we start thinking about things. As soon as we see something, we start thinking, and a barrier is created. For example, there's a beautiful piece, something very beautiful you see. And looking at it, if there's a thought, you cannot enjoy. But if there is no thought, there's pure rapport, pure connection between that beautiful art and yourself, then you just see it and enjoy that joy of the artist which he has poured into it without thinking about it. Otherwise, normally people will think, oh, how many pounds can I save? Or what should I do? Should I purchase it or not? All sorts of nonsensical, flippant, cheap ideas can come into your head. Or could be something higher also, this color is not matched with that and this. But a person who is a realized soul will just see just like children, they just do in the same way, without thinking. So the first thing that happens to your attention, that the thought subsides. Thought is the first problem that has started with ego. And now when the thoughts subside, then you become peaceful. People talk of peace. You should have peace. How can you have peace? It's not possible. It's an impossible situation. You see, we think by thinking, by organizing, by manipulating, we'll have peace. You cannot. You cannot have peace that way. How will you have peace? When the peace is established on your attention. When your attention is peaceful. When we are absolutely without any thoughts, then the peace resides. After all, the peace is disturbed by the human beings only, isn't it? It is not disturbed by something else. It is disturbed by human beings. And now, if the human beings are not peaceful, how can you have peace by talks? On the contrary, when there are talks, be sure that there will be some violent action after that. Always it happens. Because thought is incapable of keeping your attention in balance. Now, how do you remove the thought from your mind is the problem. Thoughts are all the time in your mind. If you get possessed, you may not have thoughts. But otherwise, which is the other way? The other way is the Kundalini, when it rises. A thought rises and falls off, another thought rises and falls off. But when the Kundalini rises, then what happens? These thoughts become elongated and start subverting inside. And there is a gap in between. And this gap is the place of world peace. If you achieve that peace, the world peace can be achieved. By just taking placards, by shouting for peace, you cannot establish peace. Peace has to come from the hearts of humans. In the hearts of human beings, peace can be only established when you establish the spirit within you. Its core, where it manifests the bliss of peace. When you start enjoying the bliss of peace, you don't want wars, you don't think of wars. And that is the state where now the human beings have to rise and go to that. So these horrible times which we call as Kali Yuga, the modern times, which are the times of complete illusion, and when all the value system is changed, where everybody seems to be unhappy and sick, is the time also preceding the Krita Yuga, the time where everything will be done, perfected and established. That's the meaning of Krita Yuga. So to begin with, primitive times, which we are called Krita Yuga, are established again. The primitive is again established, but here with the awareness. Like as I told you, the matter becomes aware of itself. The Kundalini, which is a potential thing, which is a potential power of desire within us, which is we can solve the primitive, manifests itself and becomes aware of itself. That is what is Sahaja Yoga today. It's all Sahaja, it's all spontaneous. All life process has been spontaneous, but today that is what it is. So spontaneously your attention becomes peaceful, absolutely peaceful. And when that peace is achieved, that peace is established within your heart through the ascent, then every bit of that peace emits peace. Such a person, wherever he is, he emits peace. Wherever he is. If there's a quarrel going on, there will be peace. Even we have seen, if there's one person who is a realized soul in a train, and if there's an accident, everybody is saved. Even one person. There are many examples where in a bus there was one lady who was a realized soul, and the bus fell down with 3 somersaults, and it fell on its 4 legs, and everybody was safe, and this thing started. And they tried to find out who was the realized soul. Because in India we understand this. We are more grown up in spiritual sensitivity than in material sensitivity. You are very sensitive to material things. We should also learn something from you, I should say. But you should also learn something from us. And that is the spiritual sensitivity. To understand what serenity is and what superficiality is. So with this attention being absolutely stationed on a balance, you start seeing the superficiality. You start discarding the superficiality. You immediately see that this is superficial, there's nothing in it. And then the attention only accepts whatever is deep, whatever is divine. The rest of it is rejected. It doesn't accept. It doesn't react. It doesn't say anything about it. It doesn't accept. It has nothing to do with it. It is just separate. The attention keeps a distance from all superficial things. It has no enjoyment. I have been many Sahajogis who are here today, who used to indulge in all kinds of things. All kinds of things, which I was amazed how could they go, because they were men of God. But the situation is such, the atmosphere is such, that they were. They have given up their parents, they have given up everything and have become really like vagabonds and shoes. But when they got their realization, settled down. Everything settled down. And now they don't go to those places. Now they just don't like it. They don't want to see it on the TV. There's on the TV, they put it on. Because the attention has now the sense I would say, of purity. The sense of morality, which we know of is hypocrisy outside. We are hypocritical, but this is inner morality which just keeps you moral. Inner quality, like Christ now. He would not do something filthy, will he? Why? Why did he do it? Like any other person? Why was he not attracted to something that was not good? Because his attention was pure. It would not accept anything that was not pure. Like that, your attention becomes absolutely pure. Your eyes become innocent. Your eyes do not have dirty ideas, lust and ideas, but they have purity in them. And wherever you put your eyes, that becomes pure. Whenever you look, that becomes pure. You spread purity through your eyes, not lust and greed. And this is something must happen today, because the time has come, our eyes are tired, not tired, of looking at all horrible things. Let us now have those eyes who discard. Then why will they have dirty things? It's only we have created this spirit. Once we discard it, it will all disappear. It's our own creation. Whom can we blame? Not the birds have done it, not the tigers have done it, or the trees have done it. It's we, the human beings. We have done all this nonsense. If we get purified, everything will be purified. Now the attention becomes collectively conscious. Becomes. So far your attention is not. Your attention is, you can see a person, how his hair is, or what dress he's wearing, and all these things. But you cannot penetrate into that person to feel what sort of trouble that person has, what centers he is touching, whether he is a good man or a bad man from the divine point of view. Because your attention has achieved that state of collective consciousness, you can understand. At the very sight of the person, you can say what sort of a person is. I mean, I had many experiences like that. I told once my husband that this man has come to loot our country. And he was shocked. He said, how do you pass it in a mark, just looking at his face? I said, he has come here to loot our country. And he did it. He did it. Within 3 years' time, they found out he looted us out. Like that, we can have many people who are really at the top of organizations, governments, these that are really cheats, are going to one day ruin the whole country or destroy us completely. You can see it from the face. But that penetration only can come when you have those pure eyes. When you are yourself pure, how can you see? When your glass is mirrored, suppose if there's your eyes are covered with some color, then how can you see? To see something clearly, your eyes must be clear and clear. And that's what happens to us. But there's nothing wrong. Once Kundalini rises, she kindles a light. You can see a twinkle in the eyes of a person who is realized so the eyes are twinkling. And there's a kind of light you can see in the eyes of such a person. And then you know that such a person is realized. It's very simple to make out even the eyes of a bad man and a good person. When you develop your own inner sensitivity. And this comes through the attention being absolutely at balance. No thoughts rising. You look at a person without any barrier. For example, you see, say I see an Indian. Then immediately I think, oh, from what country, what part of the country, who is he, this, that. Suppose. So that she's lost that. It's nothing important. What is important is what sort of a person he is. He may be your own brother, maybe a nasty fellow tomorrow, he may murder you. So it does not matter. Whatever you have understood through your brain is nothing. What is important if you have seen through and you, what sort of a person? So the attention has to be purified, but that you don't have to do. Your Kundalini itself purifies your attention. You become collectively conscious. So many things happen to your attention. Sitting down here, you can tell about people what's happening to them. Now the Krita Yuga means it happens, it is manifested. So now the attention manifests itself. It's another very remarkable thing that happens. Like, I'm sitting here now and I'm thinking of someone. Alright, I'm thinking of someone. If I want, I can think. If I don't want, I need not think. That is the situation. But after realization, somebody needs your help. You just think of that person. And if you think of that person is helped. Even if the person doesn't know and is thinking of what, you may help that person, just thinking of it. It happens. It has happened. You must have seen one of the things happen in Bedford. It's very surprising for people, but it's a fact. The fact is like this, that some people were going, one boy was going on a motorcycle and he fell down from a bridge and they called for the ambulance. But after some time the boy himself got up and killed. And they were surprised because they expected him to be dead. They were surprised, how did he walk up? So they asked him, he said, no, there was, I'll tell you, in the hospital. They took him to the hospital and there was also police people and he told them that I fell down all right, but a lady came in a white car, I have a white car, and she came down and she healed me. I said, which lady? She said, an Indian lady. She was wearing a white sari. They couldn't believe this, it must be a hallucination. Next day he says, saw my photograph. Because I was speaking in Bedford, that time when he fell down. Like this, we had a bigger hall than this, and I was speaking there when this had happened. So they were quite surprised, and he said that a little point down below is left there. She said, you come to me, and I'll kill you. So they asked Praveen Brown about it, and he said, yes, this has happened in India many times, and it's surprising it has happened here also. There's nothing great, there's nothing special. Because if you can receive on the television something from the ether, you can always receive at that level also. And you can manifest it. But in the television what we receive is, it doesn't manifest. Supposing we see some photograph of someone. It doesn't get up and cure us, does it? It does not. But here, attention, when you put to it, the attention manifests. See, wow, fantastic. It is very hard to believe, but it happens. It happens. That the attention itself manifests. So, this attention that becomes enlightened, becomes one with the divine, it manifests. And it acts, and it helps. It is very miraculous, but now those who are surgeons here know 1,001 stories about it. It has happened like that. It can happen to you. It can happen to anyone. Like once I remember a girl, she went to a place which was a little lonely and some people attacked. And some surgeons were going by bus. So they suddenly got down at a place and just walked. They didn't know why they walked there. And they found that so many people were attacking this girl and they just saved the girl from them. And they were from a different place and she said, how are you all here? Oh, we don't know. We just felt we should go out this side, so we came out. We felt the vibrations, we just came, walked here, and we saw you in this condition. It can happen. So you become one unit, like the part and parcel of the body. So you become, the attention makes you a part and parcel of the whole body, but also the awareness of it. Like this finger is the part and parcel of the whole body. But is not aware. Is not aware that it is a part and parcel of the whole body. It acts. But there it is aware and it acts without even having any connection outside, like ductless glands, it acts and it manifests and it works out the way it has to work. It's such a fantastic thing, is the attention that becomes. Then the last and the most important thing is that you become the joy. Nowadays, we have lost the sense of joy. With the smallest thing we get irritated and angry. You see the small children running, a lady comes down. You should not run here, I'm disturbed. How many children when they run, and the sound they make so sweet, so beautiful, so joy-giving. But she can't bear it because she's so tense. She's just waiting to hear. She comes down, there's one child, she shouts at the child. The child cannot even speak. Why are you shouting at him? He makes noise, he can't talk. Oh, then she goes back. All the time you are just waiting to find faults with others, waiting to complain, waiting to see what others are doing now. Not enjoying them at all. Once I was traveling from Lucknow to Delhi in a train, and we had ladies compartment, and we were 4 ladies, but there was only one lady with me and myself, and in the other compartment there were 2 young boys. And they had met after a long time, I think they were in college together. And they were hitting each other and, talking with each other in such a friendly manner. I was just enjoying it. And this lady was so angry. She said, these stupid fools don't allow me to sleep. I said, we sleep every time, we enjoy the way they are having. She said, what, you're enjoying? I said, really, I'm enjoying. I'm feeling my young hitting each other and see, you come around now, what you did this way. It's so interesting, such innocent talk we were having. And this lady got so infuriated. She said, no, I'm going to hit them hard. At the most, she knocked. 10 times she knocked. I said, why don't you let's damage her? So she said, no, I just can't manage. I can't. See, then she went out. Her attention, would not allow her to sleep. She went out, shouted at me. What do you mean by doing like this? And what do you mean by talking like this? Poor thing. Like this. I felt so sad. So when she came away, I went and told her, doesn't matter, she's still, her ears are very, very sharp, you see. So when you talk in muffled voice, she won't know. But even that she could hear. She could not spare them. The whole night, you see, she didn't sleep just hearing it. She asked, don't you think they're talking? Now let us talk. That's how our attention is, horrible. It can never enjoy anyone. What the birds speak, how the children run, and how the people talk. You see, it's so enjoyable. Everything is such an enjoyment, which we have lost that sensitivity completely. We cannot enjoy each other. But then we enjoy. We just enjoy a person who is a realizer. Just enjoy. Just sitting with such a person. Nobody's talking. Many times we surgeries travel together. There's a pin drop silence. Nobody's talking. And the ticket collector said, why? Are you meditating or what? Nobody's talking, just sitting, enjoying. He can't understand what's the matter with this baby. They're not talking. Nobody talking, just enjoying each other. Just sitting, enjoying the company. Then nobody bothers about the comfort. Sometimes we have our programs where we have 1,000 people or something. And it's also sometimes we go to India, it's horrible Spartan living, absolutely Spartan to the last, we can say. And they don't mind at all. They don't mind anything. I said, Baba, you want to go to villages, but we prepared this horrible place. Oh, no, mother, we enjoy. They said, our Kundalini rises just like home it goes in. And we just enjoy that. We don't want anything else. And it is so difficult for them to send back to their own countries. We have to actually push them with a pistol. Now go back. And they enjoy all the discomfort in that country. country, I'm surprised, absolutely most uncomfortable places there. But we had 4 Americans once. 3 of them ran away, they couldn't bear it. First time we said, no, we have to stick them with something that they stick on them. They would not. There's no one is too much for us. How can we live like that? I said, what comforts you have here in the country? See, all plastics, we eat in plastic, everything plastic, even for towels you have plastic. At least in India, you have everything cotton. You have a plate of, say, a beautiful plate of brass to eat food. What do you have in your country that you are talking of your comfort? They got a little bit. I said, we have at least motor cars. All right, we have got pull-up cars. Doesn't matter. But it is too much for them to go by a bullet cart because you see their body is all shaken up, their attention all outside. So this is what happens. Your attention becomes balanced. Attention becomes collectively conscious. You start enjoying others. And this so-called comfort for which we really fight is zero. Like here I see, if you go to Yorkshire, you find people have gone to Brighton. Why? For a holiday. And the people from Brighton have come to Yorkshire. I said, but what? I can't understand. They can't sit in the house. See, there's nothing like grahastha, means the one who stays in the house, isn't it? There's nothing like a household. They're always out of the house. As soon as they get a holiday, they must pack up, walk. Some people are just cruising. Fine, why are you cruising? You must sit at home. Home is the place of bliss. Sit down, talk together, have some rapport, be nice to each other. That's not there. You will have a television in between you. Otherwise, if there's no television, there's a fight. Nobody can stand the company of another person even for 5 minutes. Either you have television, or you have newspaper, or something in between. There's nothing like enjoying the company of other person. Why? Because our attention is so shaky. Just gets disturbed for nothing at all. I mean, how can you live in a place, in any place without any sound? You want to have a soundless area, then why God has given you ears? He has given you the ears to enjoy the music of His rhythm. And that you can only feel when you become a realized soul. Before that, you are very uncomfortable. You have all kinds of wrinkles all over. And you ask them, why have you wrinkles? Oh God, I have neighbors who are young boys. They are all the time singing loudly. I will grow old in no time. I said, I would go and join them if it was. What is there to feel so bad about it? What is there to feel that you cannot bear it? Why should you be so tired about it? Because our attention makes us tired. All the time our attention is. And the worst is our attention is on the watch. Watching the time. For what? For what are you watching the time? There is no more going to be a war of water or anything. You don't have to worry on that. You see, when the bomb will come, it will come without knowing. So why watch the time? After all, that's the only thing that is important, isn't it? Otherwise, what is important is enjoy the time, this moment. Every moment has a dynamism in it. But you are thinking now to go, now mother is speaking whether I'll get my train or not. I should put you as soon as the time is over. But I tell you, for a surgery, the trains will stop, the aeroplanes will stop. Everything stops. Because after all, it's all God's will you are entering. Who is greater than God? Who is more powerful than Him? Once you enter into His kingdom, everything works out. You know, it works out. Mother, we don't know how it worked out. It works out. They talk in third person, it works out. So the joy of those happening, the joy of that blissfulness, that security of God fills you up. And when it fills you up, you feel absolutely relaxed. You feel it's all done. Now the gentleman has gone, you need not look at him. Actually, when he was sitting, he was having big things. And it happens with people because I think he's a possessed person. And with me sitting here, sometimes, they go into contortions and do all kinds of things. Better that he's gone. But you don't pay attention to him, it's nothing important. There's no need to turn your eyes. Just now we're talking something nice, let's talk of something nice. Why pay attention to something that's not so nice? So attention should be at the nice things, as we say, but it is never. How do we do? We do it by enjoying the nice things, by understanding the nice things. Just our attention goes there. And whatever else may be there, we just don't see. We just don't see. We went once to a place called Nepal. You must have heard about Nepal and Kathmandu. And my daughters were there with me. And normally Indian people are a little bit sort of, you see, daughters, they wouldn't carry them to places if there are erotics and all that. Actually, we had never seen erotics in our lives, you see, because our attention is not there. So we saw the whole of Nepal, we never saw any erotics, you see. Second time I went, my disciple was there, he was writing a book, and he said, Mother, do you know that Nepal has the maximum number of erotics? I said, no, we never saw. We are moving about with our daughters, we had never seen any erotics anywhere. Oh, it's full with it. I said, where? On top of every temple. I said, why do you see the top of the temple? Why don't you see inside the temple? He said, no, on top of the temple, you'll find lots of these erotics. I said, where? You know, to my amazement, when we went there, the Japanese had put up long these wires and what you call them, those big, you use machine-like ladders, you see machine-like ladders, special ladders they have. And with the zoom lenses, they were taking photographs of these erotics. I said, Papa, what's the matter with these? He said, what is there to see in that? And they were taking photographs of these. I said, from this distance, I can't see. I mean, any Indian who goes there, goes to a temple, his attention is on the deity. And he's not bothered, we never saw these things. What is there outside? And these Japanese are with the zoom lens, one falling down and holding on to the wire, another standing on his head, trying to arrange the camera. To get what? That filth. That. I was amazed. Because our attention is used to filth. You see, if you know people who are, we call them sweepers in India, they have to clean the, which is not a very good thing, but they do a dirt cleaning thing or a garbage cleaning. And they have no nose to feel the dirt. You see, they become like animals. They can pass through any dirt or filth. Same thing has happened to us. We have no sense left of sin. What's wrong? So what? That's what. We have lost the sensitivity to sin. But after realization, you just become sensitive. And you avoid it, just leave it. So the discrimination takes place. You can never enjoy a sinful act. And the enjoyment of righteousness and virtue starts flowering into you, you become a flowering personality. You really enjoy yourself. You never say, I hate myself. Or you never use this word, I hate you. Next moment, I love you. That sort of nonsense goes away from your tongue. You become a beautiful person who is never bored. Who is never bored. You enjoy your own company so much. Even if you are engaged, you are enjoying yourself. You are outside, you are enjoying yourself. Because you are there, you are not lost. So this is how our attention becomes enlightened and you become the joy. And this joy fills you up completely. You become a personality of magnetism, complete magnetism. I was surprised that the best perfume that they produce in Paris is called as joy. The most expensive is joy. I think they have found out that joy has that magnetism in it. And it is from pure flowers. Actually, these flowers we find in India. I don't know where you find them here or not, from where the joy is made. But whatever it is, what I find that the people are hitting the point all right in every way, that this is joy, the perfume. Joy means, joy is the perfume in a human being. If you have that joy within you, you may not take bath for 10 days, you will have never a problem of any smelling or anything. Because you are perfume, you become perfume. Anywhere, even some people think of me, they get the perfume. All kinds of perfumes. It happens like that. Because in the attention, the Mother Earth, which was the element, the matter, becomes the perfume. The causal of the Mother Earth is perfume, it becomes the perfume. The magnetism of the Mother Earth becomes the magnetism in your personality. Whatever you have got it from 5 elements goes back into its primitive state in the sense it becomes its causal, like it becomes the globe. The Tejas is the causal of light. The causal of light is Tejas, is the glow. Your face glows. Your skin glows. There's a glow on your face. Sometimes you find glow around thing. But to see glow is not good. That I'll tell you sometimes later. But you do see. A person like this has a glow on his face. So you become your primitive, or you can say your causal, of which you are made, all the 5 elements express in its causal. But now the causal is aware. That's the only difference there is. So you become the joy, source of joy, and the giver of joy. And you yourself enjoy yourself, because yourself is so glorious, so great, and so joyous. May God bless you. So again we'll have some questions, but open the windows. Today it's like India already, so.
Shri Nirmala Devi